How Jon Snow Came Back from the Dead, Game of Thrones Explained. Jon Snow, the Bastard of Winterfell, the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, and the man who defied death itself. Welcome to the channel. Subscribe if you love House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones, and deep dives into Westerosi lore. Let's begin. In the brutal world of Game of Thrones, where power, betrayal, and blood rule the land, few stories captured the hearts of fans like that of Jon Snow. But what happened when one of the most beloved characters was killed, only to rise again? In today's video, we dive deep into how Jon Snow came back from the dead. We'll explore the betrayal, the dark rituals, the mystical forces at play, and what his resurrection truly meant, not just for him, but for the fate of Westeros. The death of Jon Snow. Soft snowfall sound effects, somber music rises. To understand Jon Snow's resurrection, we must begin with his death. At the end of Season 5, in the episode titled, Mother's Mercy, the world of Game of Thrones was turned upside down. Jon Snow, the honorable Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, was betrayed by his own men. The scene is haunting. One by one, his brothers stab him with daggers, each whispering the word, for the Watch. Why? Because Jon had made a decision they believed was treasonous. He allowed the wildlings south of the Wall. To the Watch, these were the same people who had raided villages, murdered innocents, and stood against the Night's Watch for centuries. Jon saw them differently. He had fought beyond the Wall. He knew the true enemy wasn't the wildlings, but the White Walkers. But compassion in Westeros is often punished. And so Jon fell, betrayed by those he led, stabbed in the snow, bleeding out, dead. This moment sent shockwaves across the world. Fans were outraged, heartbroken, and desperate for answers. Could he really be gone? A world of magic and prophecy. Music shifts to a more mystical tone. To truly grasp how Jon came back, we must look beyond the Wall, beyond even the realm of men, and into the shadows of prophecy and magic. In the world of Westeros, resurrection is rare, but not impossible. The Lord of Light, R'hllor, is a mysterious god worshipped primarily in Essos. His followers believe he is the one true God, the God of fire, life, and light. And among his followers is a priestess named Melisandre, the Red Woman. Melisandre had long believed that Stannis Baratheon was the prophesied hero, Azor Ahai reborn, a legendary warrior who would lead the world against the darkness. But after Stannis fell, she was broken, lost, searching for meaning. When she arrived at Castle Black, she saw something in Jon Snow. Something she couldn't explain, but deep down, she knew. Jon was special. The Red Woman. Melisandre's theme music plays softly. Melisandre had seen many things in her flames. She believed in destiny, in fire, in sacrifice. She had seen what lay beyond death, and she knew there was more to Jon Snow than just his death. In Season 6, Episode 2, titled, Home, Melisandre made a fateful decision. With the Lord Commander's body lying cold, she attempted a ritual unlike any she had done before. Not with fire, not with blood, but with hope. She bathed Jon's body. She washed his wounds. She cut locks of his hair and chanted in the language of the Lord of Light. The room was tense. Davos, Tormund, and others watched, uncertain, unbelieving. And nothing happened. The ritual ended. Silence filled the room. One by one, they left. But then, in the dead of night, Ghost, Jon's direwolf, stirred. And Jon Snow opened his eyes. The mystery of his return. Music swells, triumphant but eerie. Jon Snow had returned. But how? Was it truly the Lord of Light? Was it destiny? Or something darker? Melisandre herself was shocked. Though she believed in R'hllor, she had never seen such power work through her. She had tried to raise others before and failed. Why did it work now? Some believe Jon was resurrected because he was meant to fulfill a greater destiny, one that only he could complete. The war against the White Walkers was approaching. The Night King was on the march. And Jon was the only leader who had the courage, the heart, and the honor to unite the living. But Jon did not return unchanged. He carried the trauma of death with him. He was colder, quieter, less idealistic. He had lost faith in people, and perhaps even in himself. When asked what he saw after death, Jon said, nothing. That darkness stayed with him. The power of R'hllor, flames crackling in background. The Lord of Light's power is mysterious. We had seen it before, in Beric Dondarrion, who was resurrected 6 times by Thoros of Myr. Each time, he came back a little less human. Was Jon Snow headed for the same fate? Was he now a servant of the Lord of Light? Interestingly, Jon never pledges himself to R'hllor. He does not become a follower of the Red God. His resurrection is a gift, or perhaps a burden, but he never asks for it. Unlike Beric, who believed he had a divine mission, Jon remains focused on his people. On the war, on the living. Melisandre later confirms what she believes. Jon Snow is the prince that was promised. A prophesied savior reborn in salt and smoke to fight the darkness. Was this prophecy fulfilled, or was it just coincidence? The truth is, in Westeros, even prophecy can lie. Consequences of resurrection. Music shifts to somber, introspective. Coming back from the dead doesn't mean life returns to normal. For Jon Snow, it meant more responsibility, more weight, and more war. His return allowed him to rally the Wildlings, the Night's Watch, and eventually the Northern Houses. He would go on to win the Battle of the Bastards, reclaim Winterfell, and be crowned king in the north. But the scars of his death remained. He felt no joy in his victories. He had been murdered by his own brothers. He questioned the worth of oaths, of honor, of sacrifice. His resurrection marked the end of Jon Snow the idealist, and the rise of Jon Snow the realist. It also gave him the freedom to walk away from the Night's Watch. Technically, his vows had ended the moment he died. "My watch has ended," he said. The larger plan. Drums begin to build. A sense of epic scale. Was Jon's resurrection part of a divine plan? Let's consider the big picture. After returning, Jon became a key figure in uniting the kingdoms against the White Walkers. He formed an alliance with Daenerys Targaryen. He traveled to Dragonstone. He rode a dragon. He saw the Night King face to face. Without Jon, it's unlikely that Westeros would have survived the long night. Some fans believe that Bran Stark, now the three-eyed raven, may have had a role to play. As someone who sees all of time, did Bran manipulate events to ensure Jon's survival? Others believe Jon is a Targaryen, the true heir to the Iron Throne, the son of Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark. His resurrection might not just be magical, but political. A chess move in the Game of Thrones itself. A man of two worlds. Music softens, melancholy tone. Jon's story is one of duality. He is both Stark and Targaryen. Both living and dead. Both a man of honor and a man shaped by betrayal. His resurrection did not make him a god. It did not make him invincible. But it did make him different. He no longer feared death. He no longer cared for thrones. When Daenerys burned King's Landing, it was Jon, and only Jon, who stood up and stopped her. He knew the cost of letting darkness rise. He had died once already. He knew what was at stake. And in the end, his choice led him to exile, to the far north, beyond the wall, where it all began. Symbolism and legacy. Final theme swells. Gentle, thoughtful. Jon Snow's resurrection isn't just a twist in a fantasy story, it's a symbol. It represents rebirth, growth, a second chance. He began